Hello there, my friend, and welcome to the Disney Travel Secrets Podcast. Rob Kerri Stuart here, coming to you from the CMV studio in Orlando, Florida. You are listening to episode number 434 with an original air date, June 9th, 2025.
I know, and sometimes we do say Windermere and other times Orlando, but Windermere is a town within Orlando, in case you did not know that. Actually, most people do know it because of Tiger Woods, but enough on that.
Today, we're going to share some great info on Disneyland's 70th anniversary, which is a big deal, and we were there about 8 days ago, so we got to see it firsthand. There is so much going on there.
I know. We were only there for 2 nights, and we're going to tell you why, plus a visit to our favorite restaurant at Downtown Disney, and do you know what that is?
I do. We also went to a restaurant there, Downtown Disney, that we also frequent pretty often here at Disney Springs. And we have a great pro tip. We also stayed at our favorite place, again, and that is club level at Disney's Grand Californian. The best way to experience all that Disneyland has to offer.
Okay, let's do this.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Kerri Stuart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
For those of you that are watching us, we are wearing our CMV Heroes Folds of Honor shirts today because we're recording this show on June 6th, the 81st anniversary of D-Day.
And we visited the Normandy beaches last year with a group of friends. The experience in general was so incredible. No words can explain it, but put it on your list.
Thank you to the greatest generation.
And a great way to experience this, if it is on your dream travel list, is through an Adventures by Disney.
We went there as part of a AMA Waterways cruise on the Seine from Paris, and we spent a day at the Normandy beaches again. Incredible. Again, for those of you watching, here is a reminder to get your CMV Heroes Folds of Honor hats. For those of you, again, watching us on YouTube. And here's what this looks like. It is a beautiful hat.
And 100% of the profits go to Folds of Honor. So not only do you get a really cool hat, you are helping a great charity.
Okay, on with the show. So as you may know, we had a crazy 2+ weeks of travel that started on May 16th. And as much as we love to travel, you guys know that, it is so good to be home. We even canceled a trip to Sandals St. Vincent that was offered just later this month. That's how crazy our schedule has gotten.
I know. And one of the things I hate, though, is the word busy. I hate when people say they're just too busy. So what we like to say is we just needed to prioritize a few things.
I know, and the perfect example of one of those things is our full ship charter on the Douro River in Portugal in July of 26. We still have cabins left, and we're going to put a link to that in the show description.
That's going to be so amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I love going to new destinations, but I also enjoy visiting some of our favorites. And I do have to say, the weather gods these past few weeks were on our side, but I'm so grateful for these opportunities.
Here's a quick recap of our travel adventures. We were out of town for 15 of 17 nights, 7 hotels, 6 flights, 3 train rides, and a cruise on Virgin Voyages. It also included our first ever interior tour of Alaska, then 2 nights at Disneyland and the Grand Californian.
So actually, I think it was 8 hotels by that count.
Did I miss one?
I think you did.
Probably. I don't know. Yeah.
But then we topped it all off with a very relaxing night in Santa Ynez, sharing a glass of gogi wine, one of my favorites, with Kurt Russell. But I'm so glad to be home.
I am too. And most of you probably know Kurt's our buddy. We had a picture that we took, Kurt and I together, and Gogi Wines featured it in one of their reels. And I was sharing this with our friend Mark from Sandals, and I showed him the picture. He goes, "Oh my gosh, you look like brothers," which ironically enough, a couple people came up and said, "Now, are you Kurt's brother? Are you related?" I'm like, "No, we just have the same hair." So here's a couple of takeaways from this trip. If you can, avoid flying through Dallas. I'll say specifically DFW, avoid it. They always have delays, and we had purposely not flown through there in years. And that flight that we did was a good reminder as to why.
Yeah, and I remember years ago, I was flying to Dallas once a month for work, and even then it was terrible. And it hasn't really changed.
No.
It is a hub for American, and unfortunately, it was our best option when we were flying back from Santa Barbara to Orlando.
So our flight from Dallas to Orlando was delayed by probably 30-ish minutes, and we were just sitting there. Then when we got to Orlando, probably about 11 at night, we sat on the tarmac for over 30 minutes, because they were waiting for the gate crew. And again, so at this point, it was 11:30 at night as we sat there. I mean, that was ridiculous.
I know. And keep in mind that we were, at that time, already about 20 minutes late. So don't you think that they would have had somebody waiting for us at the gate?
That, yeah.
Now, trying to get an Uber or Lyft at that time of night is hard.
Mm-hmm. As we said before, rideshare from the Orlando airport, to use a travel term, technically maybe not a travel term, but it's a train wreck. It really is.
Yeah, and that's why we always do recommend Fleet Transportation and the owner, Sam, because they have an amazing team. They always take care of us, even if we're going from our house to Port Canaveral.
That is true. What was great was we knew Sam and his team would be tracking our flight. And as soon as we could, we texted him and he said, "Yep, I know. You're delayed. I will meet you at the bottom of the escalator."
I know. And you know what? I can't imagine getting in almost an hour late and then you're like, crap, now we have to go find Mears Connect and wait for it, or hoping that Uber comes.
And just for you, our listeners, if you call Sam, he will give you a very special rate. His info is in the show description.
Now, we do have a special re-shout out this week. I don't think we've ever done this before.
We have not.
Yeah. So this is from our Disneyland trip. So a special shout out to Shanice.
No. Shanice, because she's very nice.
She is very nice. Also, Chanel and Chanel's son, Gunner. They work over at Din Tai Fung. That is our go-to restaurant at downtown Disney. My favorite. So good.
This is one of those places that we plan way in advance for. We knew probably a couple weeks out, okay, we're going to Din Tai Fung. So our pro tip here is get a reservation on Yelp. And if you're lucky like we were, and we just sat at the bar, if it's only maybe 2 or 3 adults, it's going to be pretty wide open. But I'm glad we're headed back to Disneyland later this year for the Disney Agency Owners Conference. We call it the Earmarked Conference.
Yes. And we also do have a couple other shout outs to some new friends we met at the Gogi Wine Club event, and that is JB and Susan. They're another couple that lives right here in Orlando, pretty close to us over at Flamingo Crossing, so on the other side.
And we can't forget Terry Fator and his wife Angie from Vegas. And yes, we're talking about that Terry Fator. He's the winner of the very first America's Got Talent. And yes, Terry, we will take you up on that offer to come visit you the next time we are in Vegas.
I know. I am definitely looking forward to that. You know what's fun is, fun fact, he is a huge Disney fan. And in fact, so many people at the Gogi Wine Club are. And you know what's kind of fun is he even said to us, he goes, "Hey, I've watched your show on YouTube." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, you're the one." So
don't say the one.
No, but thanks. And we are working on some very fun plans ahead with Terry.
I will say, if you want to leave us a nice review, please send it to us directly, and we'll thank you on a future show. I say that because I truly do not go on any of the podcast sites and read the reviews. I've been personally attacked way too many times. I'm never going to change our show to accommodate the haters. So we thank you that listen to us and watch us. Again, send the reviews right to us, and we will publicly thank you on this very show.
Yeah, and we do appreciate those of you who do reach out. So don't really hesitate to reach out to us on social. Even if you're headed to the parks, there are some weeks when we are in town. What we like to do is what's called a park run, which basically is where we head to the park. We find out when people are going to be around, and we say where most people going to be at. And we just like to pop over and say hi.
Okay, spoiler alert, you're most likely going to see us at either Hollywood or Epcot. Those two parks are the easiest for us to get to. Magic Kingdom is just too hard with the TTC, and Animal Kingdom it's just far.
I know.
It's over by Flamingo Crossings.
It is. But I call that we've worked from home way too long. We've done this for over 20 years, our home office. And if something is more than 10 minutes away, it's just too far.
And speaking of far, yeah, we're on the West Coast. So, of course, we had to pop into Disneyland.
Yeah. And you know what? The more we visit this park, the more I love it. Now, this visit did become extra special because my brother Blake, his wife Sheila, and our niece Lila, they ended up being there at the same time and the same hotel, and we didn't even know it.
Okay, that was hilarious because Blake had sent a picture of the two of you to Mom. And she goes, "Now, did you Photoshop this? Because I know Rob and Kerri are in Alaska."
Yeah, she's like, "Is this real?" It was kind of cute.
And they are hardcore when it comes to hitting the park. So luckily, we were able to spend a few minutes with them on their departure day when they had no plans. And they are park open to park closed people. Also, our niece Lila really wants to meet the F1 driver Kimi Antonelli. We learned this very, very much.
Yeah, but you know what? What was so fun is hearing about what they did, because Hardcore, they did 24 attractions in one day at one park. So that is a pro. We, on the other hand, ended up just doing 6. But then again, we did spend time with their family for a good chunk of time. Also, our friends and CMV agents, Carlos and Paula, and their daughter, Catherine. So we got to spend a bunch of time with them.
We did. Also, don't forget our CMV agent, Mickey, who gratefully asked, do you need anything? And you're like, yeah, can you bring us In-N-Out?
No, she offered to bring In-N-Out burgers. She goes, hey, would you like me to stop by? And I was like, yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, but we also did Uber Eats Jack in the Box for you one night, and we had that delivered to Grand Californian. But let's really just dive right in, though, to see what you can do and see for the special 70th anniversary celebration at Disneyland.
I will say the decorations for the 70th they're awesome. We did not get to experience them as much as we would like. Again, we were only there for 2 nights, and we only had a 1-day park hopper. But again, that was by design.
Yeah, so we had originally planned to fly home from Fairbanks after our tour, but then Gogi Wine announced their annual wine club event on the 1st of June. So we were like, we're already on that coast.
Well, and they didn't do it last year because Kurt Russell was filming in Australia all summer. So we skipped a year. So we're like, okay, we got to go this. If you didn't know, Kurt owns Gogi Wine, and he actually helps create the wine. He's not just a celebrity, put his name on a bottle. He is very, very much involved, in the wines that they do. So we were basically doing, I guess you call it a 2-day layover at Grand Californian. And for the first time, we took Amtrak from Anaheim to Santa Barbara. Let's just say next year we're going to fly to either Santa Barbara or San Luis Obispo. Although after what JB and Susan said, it's probably going to be Santa Barbara because they flew out of San Luis.
Well, and Amtrak is not like Brightline. No. So very different. But you know what? It was so great to see Kurt, but let's get back to the 70th.
And we're back.
First of all, I love the color scheme. And maybe it's because it kind of reminds me of the colors that we all wore in the 80s.
Well, and the decor is mostly over at Disneyland, but it also starts at the Disney hotels. Like the lobby at the Grand had a display made of Rice Krispies, fondant, and I hardly know what that is, but I kind of do, and white chocolate. So definitely if you're over in that area, stop in to see it because you don't have to be staying there to go into Grand California. Yeah. You just can't park there.
It was really cool. It's a great story that's in a confectionery
theme.
Yes. Okay. Then between the 2 parks, there was this huge metal castle structure. Again, something really fun to see, just these little touches of celebration.
As soon as you get in the parks, and even before, like right out front, you go through and you do the ticket thing. The decor really is everywhere. So think of how they decorate for the holidays. And then they plussed it up.
Yeah. So walking down Main Street, which, by the way, we did a live with your Meta glasses on Insta.
I know. And I have them right here.
And that was really fun, though, just to share our experience walking down Main Street with the 70th for the first time. And so that was just something different. But to help you get ready so you don't just randomly, find and experience some of these special 70th experiences, we do have a little list for you.
Okay, I'm going to take these off because they are prescription. If you do live out west and maybe you're an annual pass holder, you can probably add a few more things to this list.
Yeah. Now, if you have never been to Disneyland, this year during the celebration could be the perfect time for you to add this park to your list. Now, notice I didn't say cross this park off your list because some people do that if they're trying to visit them all, but Disneyland is one you're going to want to visit more than once.
So let's start with the tour we tried to get once it was open for booking. But we had no luck, and the concierge over at Grand couldn't help either, and that is the special 70th anniversary guided tour.
So I think this will be something kind of like the old Walk in Walt's Footstep tour. So plan on learning a lot of history, learning things about some of the original attractions, and seeing the park from what I can only imagine is going to be a lot of stories.
Also have some fun with the MagicBand Plus. The MagicBand has been around for a pretty long time in Disney World, but not as much in Disneyland. Just like they did for the 50th at Walt Disney World, they're going to do some interactive experiences with those bands.
Yeah, so think of things like quests where you can go to 5 different booths in the park. And you definitely are going to want to make sure your app is up to date before you go to the parks, and also the Play Disney app. So for Walt Disney World, they work together. But I love these little scavenger hunts because we did them for the 50th, and it just makes going around the park a little bit different.
Also, make sure you get the Lightning Lane multi-pass, because for the 70th, they have some brand new PhotoPass lenses that you can use.
Yeah, so let's get to the big must-dos, starting with the Paint the Night Parade. And I call this one the Electric Parade on steroids. So it is all LED lights, And actually, the first one was in 2014 at the Hong Kong Park. And they did bring it to Disneyland for the Diamond Celebration.
Right, but they have updated it with, new music and things. And some of the characters you'll see in this one are Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, Monsters, Inc., Cars, Little Mermaid, Toy Story, Frozen.
Of course, Frozen.
Of course. And princesses, and of course, Mickey and Minnie and their friends.
Yeah. Now, the Castle Show is the return of the Wondrous Journeys Show, which debuted for the 100th. This is a great projection show. The music and the fireworks, they just work so well together.
Keep in mind that depending on the time of year, they don't have fireworks scheduled every night. During the summer, though, they are more consistent.
Yeah, that's something that surprises a lot of people, but you definitely will want to get a spot on Main Street where you have a good view of the castle if you can, because the castle isn't as tall as the one in Florida. So to see the projections, you do need a good spot. So you may want to plan your time to get there a little bit early.
A lot of people do that. There are even a couple new additions over at It's a Small World. We didn't go on the ride this time, but they did add in a little bit of Coco, not like hot chocolate cocoa, but from the movie.
Yeah. So look for that in the Mexico area. But there is a new Happy projection show on the It's a Small World building. So the ride and the building are so good in California. Don't miss it on your trip just because you're like, oh, I hate that ride. Get over there.
One of the things we did, and I tried to capture this on the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And here's what I learned. Is I walked through, there was nobody in line. There was literally nobody in line.
But we had early entry, so we were there super before the crowds.
Like for the little show on the screen before you go in, there was like 5 people by the time we got there. But I did realize, and again, I think I'm recording this whole thing on my glasses only to find out that the regular video on these sunglasses or these glasses is 3 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all this good content. No. So we're going to have to do that over at our park here.
But you did get the queue, and the queue over at Disneyland is so good.
It's way better than the one here in Florida.
Yeah.
One thing that wasn't open yet was the first Walt Disney Animatronic show, appropriately named Walt Disney A Magical Life. Now, this isn't going to open until July 17th of this year, which is probably why we couldn't see it.
Oh, surprise.
But it's going to open on July 17th, 2025, Disneyland's actual birthday. And it'll feature the first ever animatronic of Walt Disney. And we look forward to seeing that for sure. I think we're going to be there in October or November. Which one
November.
is it? November.
Yep.
We're going to be there in November.
Now, the other must-see is the World of Color Happiness Show.
Another thing we missed.
Yes. So the show is inspired by Walt Disney's opening day dedication from 70 years ago. You know, the one that's to all who come to this happy place, welcome. So it explores the concept of happiness throughout different emotions with, of course, integrating the Inside Out team. Makes sense,
yes.
right? Because the celebration is happy. Like that's on the 70th.
And that's an emotion too, if you didn't know.
And it is celebrate happy. So it's a really fun theme for the 70th.
Our pro tip for this show, get the dessert party. There isn't really seating for anywhere else. And you don't have to fight the crowd.
Yeah, that is the best pro tip.
And if you know us, we don't like crowds.
Well, they do have a virtual queue option for that show, but it's kind of lame because all you do is you get a good location, but you still have to arrive 45 minutes early. So just reserve the dessert party, suck it up, and plus they will have 70th treats there.
And with the characters randomly roaming around the parks out there, you may run into Mickey and friends in their 70th anniversary outfits. And if not, look for them in one of the cavalcades.
Yeah, the cavalcades are super fun. Okay, last, the special foods for the 70th. I love how they come up with all these exclusive offerings. And we always say if there's something that catches your eye, get it while you can, because it could go away.
We do have a foodie guide for the 70th, just for you. There's a link in the show description. For the most part, the main sit-down restaurants all will have something special from entrees and, of course, desserts.
I know there are a lot of sweets all over the park if that's your thing.
They cornered the market on sugar.
But if merch is more of what you're looking for, everything, popcorn buckets to spirit jerseys to ears.
Spirit jerseys.
So here's the thing, though, is if you want to shop and pick up some merch, plan shopping time on your trip. Don't save it until like, oh, we forgot to go to the store. Do it maybe on your arrival day or your departure day, but put it in your schedule.
For Disneyland, here are our travel pro tips. Try, if you can, to fly into John Wayne Airport, Anaheim. It's much closer and it's way easier to get ride share than over at LAX.
Yeah, so LAX for East Coasters is usually the airport you prefer because you have a lot of nonstop flights. But For rideshare, you're going to have to get on a bus or you have to walk a really far away and haul yourself and all your luggage over to be picked up in that area. It is a pain and costs so much time. So instead, consider private transfers.
And another thanks to Sam, because he hooked us up with one of his buddies who's a driver out there, and we used him a couple times as well. It's so much easier, and it takes away a lot of the stress of getting through LAX, getting on a bus with all your luggage, which is another reason we do carry-on only, and then having it dropped off. So yeah, use private car service.
Yeah, so we even have a contact out west who has a Lightning McQueen vehicle that will pick you up at the airport. So if that's something you want to kind of surprise your family with, reach out to us and we can hook you up with the details. So our good friend Susie, she told us about her and she uses her all the time.
That's it for this week. If we can help you plan your Disneyland 70th trip, or maybe you just want to come hang out with us at Walt Disney World, please reach out to us at Creating Magic Vacations or contact one of our CMV agents.
Yeah, so thanks again so much for listening or watching. And we do hope that this show helps you have a great trip, get some tips. And if you got one good idea to plus up your vacation or take away just some travel stress, then we have done our job.
Until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.